And I want to welcome you to my channel. It's been quite a while since I've done a video, and for that I apologize. I've been very active in a social life lately and have not had much time to do much of anything, including starting a new job and everything. So that was back in November, but life is good. I wanted to kind of show you some of the stuff I've been working on here. This was actually as of last week. I decided I was probably going to take my Commodore 64 game I wrote right here. I'll show you here. It's this one right here, and actually and show you the code for it. It's actually over here, and kind of explain a breakdown of how that works and everything. So you guys can take a look at that, and I'll kind of go over some of the processes and explain it. I know I did that before on an actual video in here, but one of my goals is eventually take this code here and move it to my website where you can get a better breakdown of how to write your own assembly language games on the Commodore 64. So let's get started on that for now. It might seem boring to some, but assembly language was developed way back in the 70s, probably even before that. And it basically, every computer program will convert into these binary numbers, which basically are assembly language, or machine language if you would. The assembly language is the code you see here that's readable. Machine language is actually the bits, the zeros and the ones that actually translate into all this. So your computer only sees in zeros and ones basically. So anyways, this program was written, you can see back here, on November 17th, 1992, and I had some other things that were added here. I wonder why I said 92 and this says 91. Maybe it was written in 91 because I would have put that date down there, and I guess there are updates I did in 92, so I need to change that. But okay, so these things you see right here, these are the I think they're called equates, if I recall correctly. But actually, if you would think about it basic, these are actually your variables. These are what define what SPX is going to be. It's going to be the number 53248, which is basically the sprite's X position. So if you look over here, and you see this guy right here, that's a sprite. His X position would be anywhere from here to here. This is horizontal, or X. If you think about a graph, X always goes across. Use this way. I hope I'm doing that right mathematically, but X on games always represents horizontal. And this next one here, SPRY, 53249, of course this is his Y position, so this moves him up and down here. So if you see him moving up and down, that's what that's controlling. The next one here, 53258, this is actually, I believe this is one of the other positions for one of the other players, because there's 7 sprites on the Commodore 64. I can't remember which number this is. This is 0, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, maybe like 6 or 7 or something. And then that's the position for him. And the other position, I was going to use that later to add like enemies in the game, but never got that far yet. Okay, so that's what those do. And this one here is the enable bit. You can see it here, sprite enabled. You have to enable the sprite or you won't see it on the screen. It won't appear, basically. These are pointers. I've explained these before. The pointers kind of show where in memory your sprite is located. I won't go into a lot of examples on that because it involves a little bit more breaking down the bits than that. But basically it just tells where in on the Commodore 64 you're going to find your sprite, where you're going to find sprite number. This is sprite 0, which is 53248, 53249, where you're going to find sprite 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, or all 8 from 0 to 7. That's 8 sprites. This one right here, I'm glad I commented these out. This is the color. So this just defines the colors you got for your sprite. And your colors are pretty simple. You can use multicolors, so you can change up the colors, which is the next one here. So you can add your own individual colors by setting the right bits. The next one here, multicolor, we went over that kind of a little bit. This is multicolor enable. You need to enable multicolor like enabling your sprite, otherwise it'll just be one solid color. And this is actually the screen color, 53280. I believe it's this one right here, but I might be mistaken. I just put, I didn't actually put anything, did I? Put sprite color, and it actually wouldn't be sprite color, that would be screen color actually. I think it's the screen border if I'm not mistaken. Because I changed the border here to red, so. This one here is basically some page 0 pointers I have for pointing to other various parts of memory. Okay, so let's see here. This one is another page 0. See, 251 and 252, those are the high and the low bytes, so those are page 0 pointers, and this is another page 0 pointer from 253 to 254. So basically it's a way to do other things in memory, and I think I did that when I was kind of drawing the screen down here. This is the defined, I can't remember what they call these, pointer or something, I can't think of the name, but it's basically the address, I guess you could, in memory where your program's going to begin, and this is beginning at memory location 15000. This one right here will clear the screen. It just goes to this location. Might be able to find it here. Let's see. CLRMEM. Might find a few of them here actually. Nope, it's right there. Okay, so if I go down here, I might skip around here a little bit to show you some things. So where'd it go here? Right down there. Okay, so right here, this is clearing memory location. I'm probably going to need a calculator to explain this for people. It's just going to be easy to get lost here. So you just take the 64 plus 8, which is 72, and then you take the 72, it's 256. If I've done that correctly, that should be the location where this starts clearing memory. Yeah, that makes sense because the program started 15.0, so this just started clearing memory. Actually, I calculated it right here, 15.832, how to pay attention there. So that's where you start clearing a memory. And this is just basically going from the low to the high pointer. So if you see this number 6, it's basically just starting this point at 0. I won't go and explain all that before because it can get pretty long video, but basically that's what it's doing, is it's clearing from the high to the low bytes in memory. So not to get too complicated there. This right here actually draws, you can see here it's drawn diverse things. This is drawing our character on the screen here. It's called character 2, character 3. You just kind of name them character 1 all the way up to character 10, which is all the different movements you have. I'll show you here of the sprite. Watch him when he moves around here. I think I moved him around here somewhere. You see him moving around there? Those are all the positions of him, the animation of the sprite moving in his positions each time he moves. You see his legs are kind of crossed there. And this is the Pitbull Harry character I used because it was just more easier to use a sprite that's already defined. So that's what this is all doing. This is drawn down here, if you look closely here also. This is drawing the missiles that get fired out later. Let me see if I can find a point where to shoot the missiles out. Back here. Oops, I'm too far back. It's down here where I started firing the missiles somewhere. I'm explaining the video a lot in here too, so it's not really. Let me go back to the beginning. Maybe it's at the beginning. Run it over again here. There he goes. See the bullets shooting right there? These are the what I call phasers, basically, that he's shooting. See how you shoot in there? So that's basically what that's doing. That's just drawing, and these are saving the areas where they're going to be stored in memory each time. Like I said, on the website, I'll be able to do a much better breakdown for people who are still confused by this, because assembly language is not for the faint of heart. It's pretty complex when you first get into it. I remember it took me a good several months before I was able to roll anything out, really. For a while I was just playing with changing screen colors and kind of searching through memory and doing different stuff like that. And basically that's what this is. Let's see though, this is the character set. I'm sorry, I kind of skipped down here. So I need to probably document this here. I try to like make this easier for people, put more comments in. I believe this is the beginning of the character set. Character set basically defines the characters to make them look like you want. You see how I got my own individual characters? That's a character set. Otherwise it will just be a bunch of whatever you see on your Commodore, A's, B's, Z's, or whatever. And this is defining, I think it's 256 pages. Let's see. Yeah, because I don't have an increment Y in here. So here's some other areas I just defined. One area, this is one area in memory. If I go to C64, I can show you, assuming it exists here. Might not. I don't have the whole program here, but this actually was just to find the data and store it appropriately in memory for that character set, just to kind of draw the graphics. Here's that color you saw earlier, the 53280. So defined plate for it. So 53280, that's the border color. So if you take 53280, comma 2, or poke 53280, let me show you here. Actually, let me just do it up here. Poke 53280, comma 2. You're going to get the red color here for a Commodore 64. If you do that in BASIC, that's basically going to be red. Okay, so these are flags. I don't remember exactly what these are for. I'd like to be able to search through this, but I don't have the whole program here, so I might not be able to figure it out. So they're set for different things in the program. I think they're set for the flipping of the character from one point to the next point on the screen. Because it has to get past the 256 boundary, otherwise it won't. It'll just trap him going so far over and he'll keep flipping in one position. A lot of people in Commodore BASIC kind of first learned about that. So this is 53278. Boy, I could really use my Commodore book over the I don't know what it is. It's on the floor here, but I don't know where I put it. It's got all the memory locations in it. I should have probably brought that out first, but I didn't prepare myself accurately for this. But anyway, these are I think this is not the collision register. This is something, I can't tell you what it is right now. I'd have to go look them up. I just only knew a few of them. I could probably do a quick Google search on it though. I hate having to be able to just Google when I don't know anything, but we've all done that. It's a Commodore 64, 53278. It might take me a second to look at it now. Sprite collision, there you go. So this basically is a sprite collision. And it's this pointer setting for when sprites collide. So 53282, this is more positioning of things on the screen. And it tells us this enables our sprite, we must use a pointer. This is the same things you saw earlier up at the top. These are defining the enabling of the sprite. Just basically, this is the setup for your sprite here to get him on the screen and everything. This down here, these are the positions storing in the X, so when you're moving, you can define a starting position from X and Y where he's going to be put anywhere on the screen. This is keeping track of, I don't know what this SPRME is, let's see. SPRME, I don't know. Let me see, up. Oh, it's actually at the top right there. So it's sprite enabled. There we go, sprite enabled. Team born to put that's 53240 one. Never got that, but hey, I said on the web pretty count define to be put in, on an actual video. Let's put that date down. If you think you could in memory, where I might skip around. Welcome you to my YouTube channel, and this channel you're going to find stuff for Commodore 64, Atari, and C++ and other things. The latest focus here is actually on an assembly language game I designed back in the 90s called Spaced Out. And this is part 2 of the first video because I could only put it in about 16 minutes or so before the video started. Before the audio started dissipating basically. There's a problem with Camtasia Studio, but anyway, enough said. Let's go ahead and leave off where we left off here. I was on this line earlier and I was talking about the sprite multicolor, so that's what enables it. This next line here is the next bit for sprite multicolor, which enables, I think it's the high bit versus the low. This next line here will clear the screen, and this JSR print is basically location 65490. And for those who are curious, let me show you in my book here. 5490. Down here. So if you look in this book here, location, by the way, just want to know this is the Commodore 64 map in Commodore 64, and then on page 244 at the bottom here, 6540, you'll see what it does there. You see what it says there? CLRMEM outputs a character to the screen. So basically, this line right here, 6540, is outputting character 147, which is the clear screen character in the AXI character set. So this is going to clear the screen here, and you want to do that when you're running, like when you go into a new screen, you want to erase the data that's already on there. Since Commodore 64, unlike the Atari, does not have its own specific graphic modes. You have to actually clear each graphic mode there. The Atari actually clears them automatically. Okay, so this thing here, filler, I'll show you this one. Basically filler, you see it says routine to fill screen bottom. It creates this little tile that I have in the game here, just put it in this white, ugly looking tile. This is the whole process. Basically it just draws location 1667, I believe that's over here, and it just kind of draws across the screen. And it fills, it checks certain positions. Once it reaches a certain position, it changes the next tile. I don't recall exactly how it works. It might have been BB that controlled one. No, that's fine where it goes to. It's been a long time since I've looked at it, but that's basically what that's doing. It's just drawing the tile on the screen here and alternating between the colors. Compare 3, skip 678. They used a memory location or something. They kind of skip up and draw each individual tile, but that's what that's doing there. So let's go back here. 270. Okay, so the next thing here is what room? This right here is a room update, and it draws your rooms. So if you go to what room, well, it starts right down here. So this is basically drawing each room. If it's room 1, this is just saying if RM equals 1, see room equals room plus 1. Actually, I shouldn't have that there because that's not where that does that. So basically it's just saying if you're in room 1. So for basic it's saying if room equals 1, then we'll basically go to RM1. And then this one just does the same thing for the next lines and so on. I'll show you right here. Take that one out. If room equals 2, then go to RM. Well, it's actually GRM2, but it's going to be room 2. This one should be moved down here actually. For looking right, and in this one here it's a 3, so I think you get the idea of room equals 3, then go to GRM3. So basically it's just going to look for the label called room 1, GRM2, or GM3, and go to that point in the program. So here's room 1. This is basically just right here. You can see where it clears the screen again, and it draws the tile at the bottom. It's basically just drawing in the whole graphics for the room here. Kind of look here, you'll see JSR outplot. These are actually plotting lines to draw through the screen. special kind of drawing program. And high, low byte and stuff like that. These are drawing individual positions in screen memory. This is coloring in those color memory locations, the color and the graphics. And that's basically all that one's doing. Let's go back to the top here again. Kind of a quick overview, guys. So the next thing here, after we've drawn all the rooms, right here, what room, we've gone through all the rooms here, we're going to look at the joystick. And you see I just put the basic equivalent for this joy is equal to 56320, or JY equals peak 56320 to check the joystick. This is just saying 123. If it's equal to, let me show you how this one looks. So if JY equals peak, so let's make this if peak 56320 equals 123, then it's going to go to left. Basically, that's one way of looking at it, and you can also just do it, look at it this way and say if JY equals 123, then go to left. So basically, it's the same thing from here to there, the equivalent on both of them. So, and it's just gonna do the left movement of the joystick there, and this is the right, down, up, and all that. So let's look at the left movement, which is right down here, L of T. It's actually going to a label here somewhere, but it's not in here. So this is, you can see that this is the left animation. So this is going to draw the position of our player. So not position, but the character drawing facing position. That's why I call it face. And this is setting a flag for what I don't know yet. And this one is just, if you can see here, I've got it written out. If peak 53248 is less than or equal to 32, because BCC is branch carry clear. Basically, it's saying, is it less than this value, 32, less than? That's how these kind of work together. And if it is, then it's going to, let me just type that back in. Then it's going to go to LFP2. It's going to look and flip. Basically, it flips the motion of the player. So if he's here at the left and he goes here, I think it flips him over here somewhere. So it's basically when he's running off the screen, and he runs off all the way to this corner. Let me show you when we run it here once. Okay, it's moving here. Talk about this. So once he goes off the screen here, you'll see. Watch, he's over here. Now he flipped over here again. See, he was over here earlier, now he's all the way over here again. Now, if you change screens and you didn't flip this character, when you flip here, he would still be here, and he wouldn't be at the very beginning of the screen again. That's why you want to do that. Okay, so this one is pausing the game, slowing down the game. And this one checks to see if his position is less than a certain position. Because once he flips over here, you have to check this side, basically. And if he is, then you want to flip to and kind of flip him back and forth. This right here, increment pointer, is just incrementing through the pointer, the sprite pointer, so it's the animation each time you see him moving, you'll see the animation when he's moving. See how he's moving? Animation. It's changing his frames as he's moving. That's basically all that's doing. And this right here is actually plotting the individual bytes for the movement. So I just called the variable x1. x1 equals x1 minus 1. And then you just poke that into the sprite location, which is 53248, the horizontal position, so that he can move on the screen freely as you're moving through the assembly language. And basically that's it. You know, that's how you get the player moving. And real simple, pretty simple for horizontal movement. And right's the same thing, except it's the opposite direction. So if he's moving to the right this way, he ends up over here. We want to flip him back here because we're at a new screen. That's basically doing the same thing, which is right here, actually. So this first part right here, first of all, if he's moving to the right, so if he's moving this way, and x is greater than 255, which is right here, then it goes to flip so that he can pass the corresponding 256 bit to set it back to 0, and he can, flip bit enable here, they call it 53264, I believe it is. 53264. So most significant bits, I showed this one before, you see 53264, most significant bit is set so that we can reset his position. So Let me see if I can find that in here. C64. It's actually right down here. So that works perfect. So you see where it's at the flip position? This is what I was showing you earlier. It just flips and resets his position so that he can continue to run across the screen. Otherwise, he'll only run up to the 256 pixel, if you would, and he'll only stay in a certain range. Because the Commodore 64 screen is larger than 0 to 256 pixels. It's actually up to 512, I believe it is. So you have to take the consideration of the extra, I don't know how many that extra is. Do my quick calculation here. So 512 minus 256. Oops. So 512 minus 256. Oh, it's 256. Okay, that makes sense. 256, 256. But a lot of that's going to be off the screen. But anyway, that's how you flip the most significant bit. And in this one, I was going to show you after he flips over here, you want to check if x1 is greater equal to 84. I just set this one to 84. It's at 256. Then go to flip. What this means is, you see where he is right here. As he flips over and memory location goes to 53264, 0. Now we're at the high significant bit. Now as we're moving here, in between here to here off the screen, I counted it to be 84 pixels for the movement. Otherwise, he'll be running way off the screen and you won't see him for a while. I mean, I could have done it that way, but I like faster movement in the game. So I just set it that way to flip and reflip the bit back. And that's what this is doing. It's resetting his position. It sets the bit here. It sets the flag. And this is the location, 53264, SPRX. Which in this case would be 1. So that's what the website will be later for, explain these things to people, but that's how this is working. The right's doing the same thing as the left. It's just telling where his bits are flipping at here. I'm kind of watching my time here because I know my audio is going to kick out a little bit here. In a good 5 minutes left here, so I got to kind of go through this pretty quickly now. But I think I've got pretty much the gist here. This is the right movement up here. This is the joystick movement, and then I have the down movement, up movement. But I don't think I have that one in here. Let me see. Or do I? Actually, I do have the down movement. So here's the down movement to show you that. So this is just saying if y1 is greater than 230. So if he goes down here at the bottom of the screen, when you see it moving down here, if it's greater or equal to 230 pixels, then go to this line called GRTDN, so greater than down is basically what I called it. And if it's greater than down, then we want to kind of skip over the movement going down so he doesn't end up going way off the screen. It kind of stops him from going off the screen. And for the up movement, I did that one a little bit different. So let me find it here. Right there. So for the up movement, it's saying is y less than this line right here. So if he's moving up, he can't move beyond this door and go climbing up on the walls or anywhere he wants to. I kind of stopped him right here at the border. Basically, if you're running against a wall, you're not going to be able to climb up the wall. So basically, that's what this is saying. If it's less than 170, then keep him in that same 70. So it resets 170 to y and stores it back into the vertical movement, or port 53 249, y1, which of course is y1 equal to 170. So hopefully that makes sense to people. That's just basically what I did to try to make it more realistic. You know, in those days, these are called the 2D games or whatever, one-dimensional, two-dimensional games or whatever. And yeah, that's basically it for the up and the down movement. And then I think I have the character set in here somewhere. And I've got a good 5 minutes left here, so I could probably hurry up to do that before I lose the audio here. Another thing.